sending me to the link. I'm live. Okay. So hello everybody. Welcome to Sudha Live. I'm Sudha Jamte, and thank you for joining me on another Friday night. If you're in my time zone here in Silicon Valley and finishing up your week, or if you're in Europe and it's late night, or if you're in Asia and waking up into the morning on a weekend and you still are tuning in, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So for those of you who are new, I'm a technology futurist. Sudha Jamte Jain, my name is not silent. And I'm going to talk to you about exciting opportunities with AI. You must be seeing bombarded all week long about AI this, generative AI that. I'm going to do a little bit of that, but I'm going to make life easy for you because I'm going to share some events, jobs, and opportunities in AI and generative AI specifically. And generative AI is top of mind for me. I wrote this book on generative AI, a primer for product and business managers. My recent Stanford continuing class was all about generative AI because everybody wanted to know, how do you do this thing? And is it real? Is it ethical? How do I pivot my career with this? What do I do in my job with all this? And so I've taken generative AI models and explained them in English, which is one of my specialty because I teach AI using no-code AI. Okay. And my real calling is to make you feel limitless about anything you want to do in life. It's not just about AI or generative AI. Okay. So I want to start off today with something very, very, very interesting. And I've heard, I know this is a very global audience with many of you following me. And I've heard the word interesting means different things culturally. So when I'm saying interesting in American, it is interesting. Like I'm intrigued, I'm not endorsing it, but it's caught my attention. And I've heard in Asia, it means different things in different countries. So I'm not going to go there. Okay, so I saw this tweet from Dave Khanna. Thank you, Dave, for this. I believe this was shown in 60 Minutes. And I just want to make sure my dog is not barking. Can't stop it. I don't have any control over it. So, okay, looks like she stopped. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about a new device. Again, I'm not endorsing it, I'm calling it interesting. So let me share the screen, guys. Thank you, Dave Khanna. Here we go. I have my... So this was shown in 60 Minutes.
Are you telling me that you can order food without lifting a finger or saying anything?
Let's do it, yeah. We want to order it.
Surprise me. And he says, it's asking, what kind of toppings do you want?
A cheese pizza?
Pepperoni?
Let's do some pepperoni pizza. Can it do pepperoni?
Let's try.
Let's try.
We got ourselves pizzas.
Get out of here. And he's like, okay, pizza's on his way. Should be here soon. We didn't really believe him. So we start packing up our gear, and lo and behold, he says, Katie, your pizza's here. Perfect. Thank you so much. We got pizza. It's pizza delivered without saying a word or lifting a finger.
Okay, so I want to actually show this for two reasons. One, it is your thoughts that was transmitted to a computer, and then in this case they demonstrated pizza delivery. So who doesn't like yummy pizza? So it makes a point that you didn't lift a finger and you got pizza. That's something that I would not mind having. But the power of a technology like that it can understand my thoughts, capture my thoughts, and go do something with it is very mind-blowing. That's why 60 seconds is covering that. But my point is, when we are thinking about building out something so powerful, That's what we hear in generative AI world all the time. We hear very lame examples. I do not want a mind controlling technology to order pizza. If I'm hearing about a mind control technology, the first thing that comes to my mind is not about the pizza, but all the things that I don't want you to know that I'm thinking. And I'm sure you're thinking that too. Anyway, I do not believe that we are yet in that place where we have mind control technology. But if we are going to give the power of such technology in the hands of few people who are going to lack imagination on what they want and get us pizza, I want you to get into the game. I want you to think about what are you going to do with generative AI. So there's a lot of hype around my world. So one of the things that got me thinking is, first, I'm going to share a lot of opportunities for those of you who don't have access to this, about the various events and jobs and whatnot. And those of you who are like my students, who know AI, who know some exponential technologies, are sometimes you're coming from a different place and you're new to generative AI, but you want to know what can you do, how can you do this in your jobs, in your worlds, wherever you are, right? What's the reality of it, because there is so much hype. So my job is to sift through all that hype. I contributed to the hype a little bit by sharing that first video, but I wanted you to think, because it's not just, I'm not here to give you a list that I can just send in my newsletter, which I do anyway. I want you to think. I want you to think about, get innovative. My students are leaders and they are innovators. They're dying to innovate and go change the world. And so how are you going to change the world? By making pizza delivery easy? That you can. But what else? So let us move on, and I'm going to show you this list that my friend Robert Schwenkter shared with me about different events. So Jeremiah Owang has started this Llama Lounge in Silicon Valley, and is now expanding to a AI meetup in Palo Alto. So it's very exciting in my world, because a lot of us get to go and have pizza. We don't even have to think about it. Somebody is delivering and feeding us. So, but there's a lot of events. How do you make sense of it? So I'm not even going to give you a specific recommendation of events. I think Jeremiah's events have been a huge success, and he's going to be at this Llama Lounge is going to be at TechCrunch Disrupt. So if you're going to be at TechCrunch Disrupt, that's one I would recommend. Jeremiah is a thought leader and worth listening. So Robert's list goes on and on, because Robert has a pulse on the innovation ecosystem, and he has a compilation of hackathons. This is his list, and he does this on a monthly basis. He's giving me a couple of months here. So for those of you who are interested in it, I'm happy to, just chat back here. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, that's where I'm going to check the chats. If you're watching this on YouTube, I won't be able to come to YouTube and respond live, because I'm keeping my focus on LinkedIn here. Or if you're coming back watching the recording, still come and post on LinkedIn, and I will come back and find answers. So I need to know if this is interesting for you. I will link it back. I will put it in the comment in the LinkedIn, and I will also come back and put it on the newsletter for you. Okay. But there's a lot of events happening, and it's a good thing, because you get to meet people like you. Maybe you collaborate, maybe there's a job out there. Especially big companies have a lot of ideas and things they're doing, but they're also looking at innovators. So talking of jobs, I'm not going to keep it in sequence today. There is a job from Microsoft. It was just posted 4 days back. It is called senior artificial intelligence advocate for startups. This is on LinkedIn. So, and it's a hybrid job. So if that's of interest to you, I definitely would recommend you check it out. And I think one of the things with the AI, generative AI hype, is that you have people who are building stuff, and there is a lot of apps. There's tons of landscape on the app ecosystem with generative AI, or making sense of the landscape and saying, what is this, what are the different kind of application layers and the foundation models and the tools and various different things for different modalities. That's kind of, I think every VC out there has one. In fact, I saw a tweet from somebody on Twitter about various different landscape, 5 or 6 of them from different VCs. I didn't find it best use of your time for me to just scroll through that to show that to you. But making sense of that, being one of them, being the innovator, being having a pulse on the market like Robert Schwenter, and being able to do that is a job that you can do at Microsoft. And I have worked in PayPal, help build the developer network in the early days. So I can tell you it's a very juicy job when you're involved with developers and entrepreneurs coming together, or very entrepreneurial developers in some cases, and creating something cool and market testing and getting a sense of that ecosystem, shaping that is it's a fun job. So I usually like to start my thing with a congratulation, the Sudha Live with a congratulation, and decided this time that I will start off with this the scary alter ego pizza delivery thing. So talking of evangelists, here is somebody who got a job as an evangelist, and I'm going to show you that link. So this is a person who is very excited about prompt engineering, and I saw them on Twitter excitedly sharing each prompts, and getting more and more excited by the day, and just drove a conversation, a very natural community builder. And they kept saying, oh my god, I cannot believe I have 1,000 followers. Oh my god, I can't believe that so many of you are responding back and whatnot. So this person is now officially, and they were doing prompt engineering using images, right? So using Midjourney and Stable Diffusion and the like. Here is Christine Casanova, and they are working as a senior creative evangelist in artificial intelligence at Adobe. And this is a brand new job. And congratulations, Christina. You are made for this. This is perfect. And I'm very proud of how you've built yourself with so much authenticity on Twitter, and you continue to share. So Christina hit the ground running and didn't stop, and immediately went and started using GPT and the latest in generative AI to share her evangelism with us. And this is something that she shared. It was out there on GitHub. I didn't know about it, and she got this article. It is from GPT, and basically a multidisciplinary team of archaeologists and computer scientists have created an AI that can translate Akkadian language from cuneiform tablets almost instantly. That's like a 5,000-year-old Babylonian time tablets that are being translated by AI, which is pretty cool. And so she shared that. But the interesting thing, the way she went about doing it, if you see here, is she basically got this generated by GPT, and she also sources the original article from where this is coming. So one of the things that Adobe is doing is they are saying, hey, we are just not going to give you AI. We are going to make it ethical and make sure that we give credit to people and cite our sources and all that good stuff. Let me close off some unnecessary windows that are coming in the way. So one of the conversations we had this week, so last week, I've taken a hiatus and resumed Sudha Live. And last week I showed you there was a AI and copyright hearing at US Congress, and the chief trust officer from Adobe was there and was talking about AI editing. I showed you AI editing using Playground, and then I said, I don't know this thing. I have not played with Firefly and how it does AI editing. And this chief trust officer was talking about how they want to do this ethically and in collaboration with the creators of various photo and images out there who are the customers and the entire ecosystem of Adobe. And then I saw Christina Casanova join Adobe. That was just showed up in my feed. I follow her, and we had a speaker at Weekly Wed, which is our global speaker series on my site at Business School of AI, where my students come together, and one of my students, Sneha Jadhav, hosts that. And we had a speaker who said, I'm going to demo two generative AI technologies, and she's big on getting AI accessible to everybody. And so it's coincidentally, she ended up doing a demo of Firefly. So I'm very happy to bring that here, because I said, I didn't know, I have not hands-on played with it. And here I want you to see how they are actually making that transparent, what the sources are, and privacy preserving, and all that stuff that was promised. And by the way, I have no affiliation to Adobe or any brand whatsoever. So if I like something, don't like something, I'm going to tell you. If I find something useful, or if I think something can be built on top of it, or it can be improved as a technology futurist, I'm going to tell you that. That's my job here. So let us go look at this talk from Supriya Buwalka. Okay, let me make this window big and let me share my screen. Okay, it won't allow me to share that way. It is full screen. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I'm always sensitive to, what recommendation I'm going to get. Most loved cake in Italy. I have no idea why I would get a recommendation like that, but I can take it. Okay. So here is Supriya Buwalka. We had a fun conversation about generative AI, and then she jumps into the demo. So enjoy. Usually give like a very technology definition, saying AI is trained by data, all past technology was built by programmers, right? And then generative AI, people are excited because it's generating content, it's generating music, and claiming to be the, a creative, which it is not. But I like your definition of saying it is a productivity tool, it's a tool, it's imperfect. I love that, right? I think the way the world is looking at generative AI is because there are more people who are early adopters and evangelists who are excited about it. It is not quite that people will know it is generative AI. So the most common example I show in my classes, I say, pick up your phone and tell me what is generative AI in there. And the autocorrect, right? Now Google has embedded their Palm Lambda into the Google Docs. So yes, I can have a Google document, and then I can highlight something and say, change the tone of this to become formal. So it feels like AI is generative AI today is AI, which is much more user driven or engaging the user. So it engages the user. It's not like the user has to. So that's where the prompt engineering comes in, because I think the prompt engineering is kind of a misleading tech driven word again, but yeah, it's generating, but it expects the user to interact. So you say, draw this, you say, change the tone. You're talking to the AI instead of so I would say in the past, the AI was talking to us, or was silently running the data and making predictions. It's still making predictions, it's making imperfect predictions, but now it appears to be talking to us. That's why, like, a lot more people, and especially in your vision of bringing everybody into this, everybody who's not coding, everybody who's not a data engineer, who doesn't even have a math background like you, when they engage with AI and AI is engaging with them, it calls them to talk to them, which I think is beautiful. Okay, I'll give it back to you.
No, this is thoughtful. Yeah, so honestly speaking, I want to also retract something, Sudha, that even before generative AI was in our face, I realized that the fact that AI is in our applications is with every person who's on a connected device and via the data, as a consumer, as an AI practitioner, everyone should be AI literate, because they're interacting with the AI without knowing it, and they're getting imperfect decisions, which is why I thought it was important for people to be AI literate. Today, generative AI has helped my cause, the first challenge that I faced, where now people are recognizing that, yes, I need to be AI literate, I need to upskill myself, I need to understand this, and it seems possible for me. So that is definitely a shift that has happened. Would you like me to jump in and show you Adobe and why I like Adobe? So, most people have heard about Midjourney, DALI, Stable Diffusion. And the reason I didn't opt for one of those platforms is because all of those platforms have actually trained the data with data from the internet without really taking permission from the users, from the creators of the data. Adobe, on the other hand, had their own data and they decided to build a platform on their own data and not take data from others without the permission. The second reason why I like Adobe is because they're transparent. Anything that I generate using Adobe has a watermark. I like that because as AI is becoming so powerful, it's becoming harder and harder to distinguish between what is real and what is AI generated. So if you have these watermarks on AI generated content, it's showing responsible behavior from the user. So those are the two primary reasons why I decided to showcase Adobe, and which is why I personally advocate the use of Adobe. And I hope other platforms decide to go down this pathway. Would you like me to show show you?
This is fantastic. In fact, we had a Senate hearing on
Okay, I'm
AI
going to
and
skip the Senate
copyright,
hearing because you
and the
guys
Chief Trust Officer
heard this.
Actually, all three are S's. Go into Adobe, fireflow.adobe.com,
Yes.
and there's something called the gallery. You can actually see things which have been created by the community. And what I would suggest is for a first-time user is to really first go into the gallery and see something they like. So for example, I'm Supriya and this is S and it's a twisted drift wood. So what I could do is maybe try this prompt, and instead of firefly, make it actually all three are S's. So S was a very apt letter to choose today, S and AI. And what we could do is have it generate SNAI in the twisted driftwood, or if you don't like this, we could try something else. I like bling, so sequence. And what color do you like? Anybody wants to give it a go? Maybe blue and
blue is good.
Blue and yeah, blue. Shiny, maybe. And let's see what it does. So it's taking a couple of minutes to generate and see, voila. It's such a quick way to get going. And of course, you have things on the left side where you can change the letters, the font, you can play around.
So I'm going to pause this because this was a full 1 hour weekly wed last week. And we had this amazing speaker showing us the demo. So let me go back. So let me show you where you can actually find it. Just a minute. Okay, 1 minute. Let me find my link back. So one of the things you can do is you can actually go and look at other weekly wed past recordings also, right? So that is one. I believe it is called weekly wed playlist, bit.ly/weekly wed playlist. Here we are. Let me share the screen. Yes, I know I'm not sharing the screen. I was looking for it. Where is it? Here I am. Nope, that's not the screen I wanted to share. This is my weekly web playlist here. Okay, keeps going back to a different desktop. Okay, so here's the weekly wed playlist on my YouTube. So if you follow me on YouTube, you will get all the live stream, including this one. Otherwise, all our past weekly wed is here. The reason I wanted to show you is you will obviously find Supriya's talk from last Wednesday here and all our past sessions. And we had one on prompt engineering by Robert Schwenkter, which is also somewhere here. And prompt engineering is how you prompt and give a prompt, or you give the right words by which the AI does what you want it to do. And that's what Supriya was prompting. So that is a whole field that is evolving, and it is worth for you to just check it out, I would say. Okay, somebody's asking about the playlist for this one. So this Sudha Live, I've heard from people saying, okay, I'm here, I see it on LinkedIn, and then I start responding, but where is the archive? How do I get to past sessions from Sudha Live? And so I've been doing Sudha Live since last April, I think. And here we are. You can see that all the different recordings of Sudha Live are right here and here. Okay, so I hope you'll get to see that. It is bit.ly/Sudha Live playlist, all lowercase. I like my bit.lys to be lowercase because bit.ly is case sensitive. Okay, so I showed you events, I showed you the alter ego. There is a LinkedIn learning course that I have about IoT, AI from IoT. I already did the startup advocate. I'm closing all these windows that are distracting me. So last class, I showed you about a little snippet of this LinkedIn learning course, and I showed you models from generative AI, NLP side of things, right? So this time what I wanted to do is I have shared on my LinkedIn profile, I have shared this LinkedIn course so that when I share it, it becomes free for a little period of time so you can try it out. Okay. But meanwhile, I just thought I should give you, I think this is the window. Yes. So one of the things I did is, this is about AI in connected products, which is IoT. And when you think of the brain, the thinking and letting the brain connect is kind of through some sensors. So with all the sensors, when there is so much data, how do you build AI is what this course is about. So I'm talking about machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, and AI from NLP and generative AI. But as always, I like to demystify algorithms. So one of the things I have is about computer visions is about the different models that make up computer vision. Here's a sample. Come on, where's my volume? Let me go back. We learned that computer vision is the AI that can understand visual images trained using images or videos. Let us learn the common models involved in computer vision from connected camera data. Remember how we learned in the AI lifecycle that there is training AI, inference AI, and learning AI. In the same way, for computer vision, the AI is trained by label images, and when it is ready for the customer, it is called inference AI. Once the customer interacts with the model, the new images are used to retrain the model as a learning AI. Computer vision models can detect objects, classify or group them, or extract patterns from them using machine learning or a neural network, or combine it with deep learning. A computer vision model can detect an object, such as a person crossing the road in front of a car. That is object detection. Objects are labeled in the training data, and the model learns to identify or detect these objects from the labels or annotations. A computer vision model can classify things as different classes of objects, again done by labeling the images. It can predict patterns in objects it recognizes by classifying them as different class of objects. This is called object classification. A computer vision model is used to count objects in a factory setting by simply identifying a repeat pattern of the same object. This is not a new model, but an application of the same object identification model that we've been talking about. A computer vision model can detect patterns in videos for motion detection in security cameras. This is also object detection, even if it is done in videos. Why is this also object detection in a video? A video is nothing but a series of images. We have learned about computer vision models using label data. Now let us learn about computer vision and how it can be used to extract information from images or videos. This is done by combining object detection with another model called deep learning. Deep learning is an unsupervised model trained using unstructured data. Okay, so I'm going to pause that. I hope you got a taste of this. This is my AI basically this is my course called AI in Connected Products, or AIoT. And as I said before, that I have a sample that I've shared on my LinkedIn profile. I have lots to cover, so I'm going to move on. Uh, so we've been talking about this alter ego, and that's why I wanted to show you this LinkedIn course, which is about data from sensors and all that stuff. And I told you about events, the excitement about events, and we closed the loop on this whole generative AI from Adobe that is baked into Firefly. I have one more person that I want to congratulate. I'm a big fan of her. Let me open that one. Copy this link. Let me open that window. Wow, LinkedIn is loading here slowly. It must be my bandwidth. That's super fast. Okay, I am going to just show it here. Sharing my screen. This is my friend Ravit Dotan, and you must have seen her reports in the AI and data ethics world. And she's moving from academics as a researcher into industry. So she did a very nice, very creative message about how she, tried to, find different objects from all her past careers through the path to just get her into this frame of thinking to draw inspiration on this change in her life. She's an amazing person and then amazing reports worth following. Ravit is somebody that I follow, and I'm cheering for Ravi Dotan, and I'm looking forward to what she's going to do next. And so we've already seen what Christine Casanova is doing. Another person is Semira. I'm going to come and talk to you about Semira, giving her full time another day. But I'm very thankful for Samira because she showcased our time together at LinkedIn. Let me go back. She did a very creative post showcasing my work. So I want to thank her first, and I'm going to come back next week and tell you what she's doing. But if you follow her, you can see her LinkedIn Learning course. Samira, I met her at LinkedIn Learning at Carpinteria. It's such an amazing setup and amazing people from LinkedIn Learning, and we had fun. You can see it in our faces. And she did a post showcasing my work, and she's brilliant. She's just brilliant. So you should follow her. Okay, so one topic that I do not want to miss out on is, with all this excitement about generative AI and doing events and opportunities and jumping ahead into the future of what it can do. I've been thinking about what countries, what is there, is this hype from Silicon Valley, is this everywhere? And so one of the things we are going to do is in the next weekly Wednesday, Susanna Raj and Pariya Sarin, who are both fellow program chairs at Global South in AI with me. It's a nonprofit that we take as a social affinity group to add diversity to language AI. And we go to NeurIPS, which is a top AI conference in New Orleans. It happens in different places. It happens to happen in New Orleans again this year. So we are going there, and there's going to be a call for abstract from us. And before that, we just thought, why don't we share with the world what is going on with generative AI from around the world? Does it work the same way? Is it actually applicable to everybody? When we see this gazillion applications put in a landscape, is it equally available in every part of the world? Is it doing harm to some people in the world? Is it leaving some people in the world? So when we talk about AI ethics, we always talk about, when you design AI ethically, you think about what is the use, what is the misuse, what is the disuse. And so I've had like AIX framework that I teach about that. So Susanna Raj and Pariya Sarin are going to come in at Weekly Wednesday next week, and they are going to be doing a webinar about generative AI from around the globe. And then at the end of it, you're going to get the call for abstract from Global South in AI about generative AI. I'm not allowed to talk about it before Wednesday, so look out for it. And if that topic is of interest for you, come in. If you want to if you have been thinking about language AI and diversity in language AI, or how language AI applications in different countries or different languages, this is the place for you. And I will share more about the call next week, because the call will be out by Wednesday. So thank you, Pariya, and thank you, Susanna, for doing this. So one of the things that I am seeing in the AI ethics world is, when we are all talking about generative AI, the old machine learning and deep learning is not gone. It's not old AI. There are some people call it traditional AI and old AI. It's just AI that has been built in a certain way. Now we are doing this, as a two-step process, combining foundation models with supervised learning on top of it to create AI to generate and extrapolate from its learning. Right, we are just in a different phase of this whole AI development process, and we are nowhere near done. I have people who call me and say, how is this going to end? What is good? How do you predict that the landscape looks like in 5 years from now? And I would say, you have to get into the game, and you can be the one who can change this. So look out for that. But the one big thing that's happening is called unmachine learning. So we've heard about machine learning and all kinds of AI and how it has bias, and the bias, once it learns, it is sitting in the brain of the AI. So we had Facebook say, I'm going to delete, and they did delete, millions of photos, but all the learning they got, and they built the facial recognition system, has that in the brain. So what if there is sensitive data that is sitting in the brain of the AI, and now you want to launch it out to the world? You never know what path it takes in its brain for it to generate an answer, and it might put something out. So especially with generative AI, and like Supriya, our speaker from Weekly Wed, was talking, if companies have built models that have been built on data that they didn't own, how do they erase it? They can't dump all that work because it costs them so much money. But how do they build on it so that they can make it unlearn something? And so instead of unlearn, this is concept of forget. And Google has launched this campaign called unmachine learning, and they've created a contest saying that, figure out a model on how you can give a forget data set and make the AI forget everything from the data set, so that it can continue to do what it was supposed to do, but it will not remember the specifics of this data set. So can you do that? And so I heard that's one movement that is going on, and that call on Kaggle, there is this contest from Google that is out there, if that is of interest to you. But I saw a paper from MIT about a new metric. They didn't call it unmachine learning or explainability. They called it probably approximately correct, or PAC is a metric. And so they said, we have created a model with measuring this metric. And so for any data, we can actually find out whether how far away from the forgetting or the memory that is this data inside the brain of the AI. So we basically want it to be 100%. It forgets a specific data set which they didn't own, or its privacy a concern, and they don't want it to be in the brain. And they've come up with this metric called PAC. I find the name PAC kind of interesting. I wish it is, it's an acronym, so at least we can remember it. But I would like to have more interesting names for it. I mean, for the metrics. I'm a fan of metrics, so I would love a different name for the metric that is wanting me to use that metric. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to give you is a bunch of resources. Let me share it. So AI Now Institute has basically come up with an AI Now Salon series, where it's like a 4-part in-depth conversation to help understand AI. Not just, there's too many people saying everything is AI, then there'll be pundits who will come and argue, this is AI, this is not AI, how can you call this supervised learning? Or, there's all these discussions and a lot of noise. And then there's all this landscapes of amazing applications. So to get a sense of what is AI, how does it affect it, how will it change what we are, our current life, they've done like a 4-part series. and they put that video out on ainowinstitute.org. I would definitely recommend checking that out. So with that, we've covered a lot of ground today. I showed you a bunch of different exotic looking AI, like ego AI, or probably approximately correct privacy preserving attempts at AI metrics, which is very promising. Other than commenting on the name, I actually like what they are doing with that. And so two resources. Vilas Dar has a ethics in the age of generative AI. That is a course. He's a colleague of mine from LinkedIn Learning. I would definitely recommend following Vilas and checking out his latest course, which is ethics in the world of generative AI. Exact name of the course, let me double check that to tell you that. It's called Ethics in the Age of Generative AI. So that is one, if you're thinking about the ethics of it and what are the implications, what are the aspects that you should be thinking about, that's a good one to follow. I've shared you the Schwenter's Google Doc with the gazillion images. If somebody comments here, I'm going to share that. And I hope I'll see you at Weekly Wed. And Pariya Sarin is actually going to show you what are the different posters that came that were presented at New Rips last year from Global South in AI, and they were amazing ones from around the globe on using language AI to solve local problems, and it's like very, very mind blowing on the variety of topics. So we are hoping we will hear from people on how you're using generative AI in your country, in your language, what is working, what is not working, what is missing. So come talk to us, and hope you'll join us at Weekly Wednesday, because Susanna is waiting to hear from you as we are announcing this new call for abstract to bring you to New Rips. Maybe you can fly in and do this live, or maybe you can do this remote if you're somewhere and you can't or don't want to come into New Orleans mid-December. But we live in very exciting times with all the hype and excitement about generative AI, with all the opportunities, but also I'm very hopeful about the movement to reduce bias from AI, which is done in a very technological way right now. And I'm not talking about regulation. I believe in teaching people to build things responsibility, to build diverse teams and contribute to building AI that works for all of us. So I'm very happy to see that movement of machine learning. And Yashashwini Vishwanath is actually researching and machine learning, and hopefully I will find her time to come and teach us a little bit about it. So that's with that, I'm going to wrap up. And bit.ly/jamte newsletter is where you'll find the newsletter. So all the links that I'm sharing here will be there. And I'm excited to listen to Susanna and Pariya at Weekly Wed next week. And if you miss it, you can always come to the very many bit.ly links I shared, which all points to my my YouTube out there. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you next week. I'm going to stop the live stream.